To be here on behalf of Women Community of West Africa. My name is Aida Tamura. I am the president of the wing of Burkina Faso also. May I take the singular honor of behalf of the Women Community of West Africa to extend our best wishes and associate ourselves with this important event target unlocking the potential of women in mining sector in Nigeria. The event is coming at a crucial time when most of countries in the region are exploring how to make the mining extractive industry a real catalyst for development so as to enhance value addition, improve local content, create job opportunity for the people who are also very delighted by this edition of the event, has taken into account the role of women and youth as key of stakeholders in the sector. I would to use this opportunity to commend to the organizer of Nigeria Mining Week and government of Nigeria for the effort. It is also interesting to see that this distinguished guests from Nigeria and beyond are assembling here to exchange ideas and share experiences with the aim of taking the mining industry to greater heights based on emerging global trends and make it more attractive. Distinguished guests, Abuja is the largest treasure of minerals in the world, holding about 1/3 of global mineral reserve. Yet the people, especially the women and the youth, are not enjoying optimal impact of this resource. The people living in the mineral-bearing areas are widely believed to be marginalized. Their lands are being degraded and with inadequate direct gain. We call for further deliberation so as to seek for a better ways of ensuring inclusiveness. Even before the colonization, the sector has made a considerable impact. Contribution of mining industry made Songhai Empire, Mali and all Ghana amongst over history, including women and youth. The industry is to set change for better. Taking into account women are the nucleus of the society, and also women have played strategic role to the development of not only the mining sector but humanity and civilization. The first university in the world was established by a woman, Fatima El Firi in Morocco, where a lot of people were trained on various business in the mining industry. And I am using this opportunity to call on the government of Nigeria under the visionary leadership of the President Muhammadu Buhari to do more in creating the enabling environment for women and to participate actively in this important industry. Once Nigeria gets its right, other African countries will follow. Women need to be supported. Women need to be supported to acquire the requisite skill, access funding, access technology, access to market. We produce more impact to our local economies. Youth restiveness will be addressed. Illegal immigration and human trafficking will be reduced to barriers minimal and living condition of the people would be enhanced. Once again, I want to express our appreciation to the organizer and the government of Nigeria for making this event a reality. We look forward to reviewing milestones and progress achieved after the event next year in 2019. We also examine the scorecard of the Nigerian government and other key players so as to how women are being supported and empowered. Thank you. My English is not very good.
I'm representing myself. Good morning, distinguished excellencies. I want to stand on the existing protocol. Happy to be here. I bring you greetings from the Center of Excellence, the state of Lagos. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I see that Engineer Adeyemi, she is not here, but I want to tell her that she's doing a very wonderful job and we need to applaud that. We need to applaud that. Deliberately, I want to call her Engineer Adeyemi. I'm saying Engineer Adeyemi because I know when you hear the word engineer, what you're expecting to see is a man. But we are thankful, we are grateful to God for those women, who are shattering the glass ceilings and telling all of us coming that, God created everyone equal. When people talk about religion, we think that religion is discriminatory. It is not. It is the people who practice it, who render the service in that sector that are discriminatory, not God. The Bible that I apologize, I wouldn't apologize, I'm a Christian, but please let me share with you my experience. The Bible says God created man. He created man, and He created him male and female. None is greater, none is lesser. So I say to everyone that is here, we men, all of us are men. We are men, we men. Because when we have some few, male in our midst, we tend to apologize that, for the male that are here. But let us all be comfortable. We men, we are all men. Unlocking the potentials of women in the mining sector, I think it's a very, very timely discussion. It's timely because this is the time we need to start this discussion. This is the time we need to let everyone recognize that we all have potential. And this potential that we have, they are not restricted by our gender. So we should provide that equal opportunity to all so that we can unleash on this continent called Africa our different potentials. And it is at this point of designing the sector, the mining sector in Nigeria, yet it's been there, but it's unfolding. It is at this time that this discussion is critical. And one thing that I also want us to begin to look at is the issue of standards. Particularly for women. We operate at that point where we do not pay attention to standards, and that's why we are at the informal sector, relegated to that very, very unprofitable level. So today I urge every one of us to please sit back and let's just enjoy this moment. Let's think of collaborating together. Women support women. That is what we have started, and I see us going far. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Send as somebody who picks a few gemstones. The umbrella women in mining groups should be there to speak for people. We should promote mining as a career choice to women in schools, in all along the educational value chain. And we should contribute to research and business case for economic advancement of women in the mining sector. We have to defend the reason why we should be there. And whenever we are able, we should invest in research. Education. For me, education is a lever. Education is one of the places that we really need to concentrate on. As we were talking, one of the speakers was speaking about children on a tin mine. How do we get those children out? It's education. We need to increase education of girls, and we need to introduce them to careers in mining so that we know at an early stage. My story is a bit like the lady, Madam Shanti, who was speaking. I grew up not knowing anything about mining. I had never bloody heard about mining. I never knew about it. And the first time somebody called me, they said, "Oh, come and work in an exploration company." I didn't even know what they were looking for. And I didn't study engineering. I didn't study geography. I didn't study geology. I studied French. One day I will tell you my story. So I believe that technical so there should be education education should be key. We can do, if it's a woman, you can go, this person has a gemstone business. One day, this school, we go, we speak to them, explain to them the processes, explain to them the benefits, explain to them. One of the things is the visibility of young ladies. My presentation. Ghana, we have something called Doomso. That is on or have a hard copy, but I don't know what happened today. I don't have my hard copy. Okay, go back to the education. Go back. No, back. So, speaking about education, in Ghana, what we are doing, what the University of Mines and Technology is doing, they have a policy. They go out into their communities to actually speak to young ladies about mining courses, and they actually give them the chance to enroll, whether they pass the mark or not. They reach the mark of 15% of girls' enrollment in the whole school. So the rest, 85 are men, but 15% are girls. And it's funny that, you know, we are that level, because you can see that it's almost the same. You know, there's not far from the global participation of 10% in mining. So we have to start early. If we want all, especially the young girls coming up, education is one of the key areas that we really have to work on to get more of them skilled and working in looking up to working. Career fairs, job fairs, entrepreneurial workshops for those who want to go to the business side of mining. We have to keep running workshops like that for them, to encourage them and to sustain them, and for those of you who are already in it, to keep sharing your stories. Now, especially for the professional women, because of artificial intelligence, mining is going on a huge level. Mining is now going on a very high-tech level. I visited an underground mine in Sweden. And when I got down there, I saw these young girls. And the place, it's not like the underground in Ghana. I mean, it's almost like some really fancy place. And, you know, these young girls with their earphones, and, you know, I could see they are listening to music, but they are going about their work. I was so in awe looking at them. So I asked one of them, "What are you doing?" And then she showed me on the computer these haul trucks. The trucks are working on their own. There's nobody driving. And she is somewhere else controlling them. Young ladies, we have to aspire to get to that level. Otherwise the world, we have to leapfrog. Otherwise the world will leave us behind. So we need to, those who are in the professional sector, we need to keep upgrading ourselves. Our government, we need to keep the government aware of what is happening in the world. Digital technology, remote sensing, there are all sorts of things that can take advantage of that women are doing out there in the West, which shows that they do not need men. They don't have to pick up the rod. They don't have to carry anything, but they can work in mining comfortably. And technicians, operators, women can work in. I heard about a mine in Australia that they have come up with a super plan, because they found out that the females were better haul truck drivers and operators. So they actually employ nursing mothers. They employ nursing mothers to drive these trucks, and they give them short shifts. So they come in and you do your 4-hour shift, driving these trucks, and then you go away. So we have to aim at things like that. We have to be innovative and make use of technology. And one of the, I read a report that said that a lot of the mines were very happy employing women to drive and operate machines. Why? The women are not that curious like the men. They are not fidgeting with the things. When the whole truck is, if it's not working, they don't try to fidget. They report. They just go to their supervisor and they report. And it's saving them money. It's saving the mines money. They drive more carefully, and so the tires are not wearing off as fast as when the guys are driving. And so there are mines today who are making that conscious effort just to employ women. And so there's a niche of women who are unlocking their potential by doing work like that. Research. Research is key. I always struggle when I have to go and speak somewhere. I've been looking forever, everywhere for information on women in mining in Africa. How do we get the figures right? We need to get the figures right. We need to invest in research. All of us. Ghana, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, together, and actually commission a research. Last year, myself and some other ladies were in South Africa, and we met a researcher from Australia, from the University of Western Australia, and we told her about a project, our request, that we want to commission a research for the whole of West Africa, so that when you are going to see the minister, you can say, this is what is happening in Nigeria. These are the number of gemstone people. These are the number of ladies who are cutting. This is the number of ladies who are polishing. These are their challenges. So we have a database of everything, of what they're doing. That way governments can say that, okay, let me put money in this line. Let me put money around here. Because a lot of the time, I have that challenge in Ghana. Every time I'm trying to speak to government, they are like, oh, you know, what are you talking about? The women are okay. So how do you defend that? You can only defend that with appropriate research. And so I would like either you speak to Engineer Janet about this project, and let's see whether we can take it further. Because research findings, figures, is the thing that people understand. So that is very important, and that is the way that we can unleash the potential of women. For you to even say that, yes, women can do it. It needs to be backed by research. One of the easiest way I think that we can progress is in value addition. In all of those that we are taking, the gemstones, everything, value addition is key. What is my dream? My dream is for us to have a souk in West Africa. We always fly to Dubai, and we all go and see the souk. Who has seen the mine in Dubai? No, they don't have. They don't have. They don't have. They don't have the mine in Dubai. Even when I was growing up, my grandmother used to have this lovely gold jewelry. So we have the expertise. Even without modern machines, the expertise is there. And the best way for us, and I want to inspire you and I want to encourage you that we should collaborate. Silver, gold, beautiful stones, diamonds from Akwetia in Ghana, gemstones from Mali and Nigeria. There you go. There you go. What can women in mining in West Africa, how can we collaborate? How can we raise money and do something without government involvement? We can do it. Now, even the men who are flying to Dubai and buying presents for their wives, they come to us. They come to us. We need to be able to do something like that. We need to set up something like that. We need to collaborate. We get lawyers involved because the lawyers will put everybody's minds at rest. What is due to this person, what is due to this person. Let's come together and raise funds and start this somewhere. If we are able to do it, we can replicate it in other places. There's a lady in Ghana who is also speaking about this because some ladies in Tanzania are also very interested. And they have also the beautiful Tanzanite. Yes. Wow. Let's do it. Let's come. That is one of the key. That is one of the dreams that I have, that we should be able to do something like this. And the expertise is available. And you have the experts in Nigeria. And I have been to Burkina Faso and I've had some beautiful silver jewelry. And with some black, and I don't know whether it's iron or beautiful. They have beautiful craftsmen also in Burkina, Ivory Coast, and Mali. We have to challenge ourselves. Now, if there's law, there's, legal, we can do it. So that is something that I want to encourage us to think about. And actually, that is one of the things I really want us to see and give us ourselves time to work on. I see that you have kaolin. In Ghana, clay. Annual demand for clay is about 3,000 metric tons. And we only are able to produce 1,200 metric tons. This is an industry that can employ a lot of women, but it needs investment. In Ghana right now, they have given it to the Chinese. Now the Chinese people are working on our clay. On our clay. But it's something that we women can do. Investing in clay projects. We all like tiles, we like bricks. In Ghana, we have estates even built out of women. These are the kinds of projects that can put money in their hands, can also make some of us owners of projects. And then in small-scale mining, where you have the cooperatives, if the cooperatives are well organized and they come under the umbrella of WIM, then WIM can speak to investors who want to invest, not and run. You collect the gold from the women and you get good prices for them instead of them selling on their own. But sometimes it all becomes a trust issue. Everybody wants to do my own thing. I want to do my own thing. But if we do it properly, then we cut out the Indians. In Ghana, it's the Indians and the Chinese and the Lebanese. Policy. Yes. These are all policy issues that government can support us with. And then the major elephant in the room. When you come to Ghana, because they have the resources. But recently, there's a lot of studies that have been done that show that having women on board is affecting bottom line positively. There are qualified women, there are enough qualified women in these rooms. We need women to be on board. But we need to have women qualified women dotted around this room. Because this is where the change happens. This is where decisions are made. We can talk all we want. If I go to the ministry and I speak to the minister, hey, Madam Joseph, hey, oh, don't worry, no problem, we'll do it. But it won't happen. You walk away and it doesn't happen.
For the licenses, and we took it from there. The only thing is that I will jump the gun because I've already spoken about the company before, and say one of the things that I would like to drop with people who might be interested in mining is that it's not a day's job. You know, you have to go the long haul, but it is achievable. And another thing I say to women, if you want to go into mining at the top level, you must be willing to pay the price. Like Adia said the other time, the price includes your time, your energy, you know, your resources and stuff like that, and the benefits are immense. Now, as a woman, I will also say to you that you do not let men dictate to you what you can achieve in mining. So for you, imagine me, I'm the only woman in a board of about 7, right? Cutting across different sectors of the economy. So for me to be the chairperson of that, or chairman, like our sister said the other time, that means you must be able to hold your own. So if you don't know, you need to go and study and find out more information, so that when you're in the boardroom and they're talking to you, you're talking from a position of knowledge and information. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm just going to start the next question with you. You talked about paying the price. Particularly as a woman, what was your price? And what were those things that tried to stop you as a woman in this sector?
Thank you. Like I said, the experience actually comes from out of mining into mining. So for years I've been an engineer, I worked in an oil company, and like one of our sisters was asking, my first child was 6 months when I was posted from Lagos to Warri to go and edge the Warri division. Right? I didn't know what to do, but I gave the child to my mom and I proceeded, and I was there for 3 years. Right? That experience that I got there was what led me into oil and gas. You know, if I had not taken that opportunity then, I don't think I would have been able to do that. Right? So those are some of the prices. Right? It includes working extremely hard, you know, other than the men, because you don't want them to give you porridge, you know, or peanuts. So you're saying, I have the experience, I have the knowledge, so what more do you want? Bring it on, right? I remember one experience, I used to be in charge of housing in one of the oil companies, and I traveled to Maiduguri, and I was 8 months pregnant, and I had to supervise canopies, you know, oil stations, canopies, and I climbed up, and a lot of people didn't find it funny, right? But I had to do that because I had come from Lagos. And if I did not climb up, I would not have seen the problems. And there were problems. And that kind of people have been thrown away by the wind, and they will say some engineer supervised it. And of course they will say, what do you think? It's a woman. So you have to go the extra length, basically, you know.
So your price was one going the extra length, drawing in your support system for child care, and then not being defined by what society expected of a woman, but defining your own self. No wonder we admire you greatly. So ma'am, what was your price? Your price for where you are?
Thank you very much. Just like I said at earlier stage, when I started it, there was no telephone communication. So each trip, when they say they deposit their money, we have to be sincere. I have to make sure that I'm not, and then that first thing tomorrow morning, by the grace of God, as early as 5:30, I have to put my house in order. Then I will not say, okay, I'm going. I will jump and enter the paper. We are going. And the guy was helping me. You know, when they know that you are hardworking, definitely they will help you. At the point of that white man decided to relieve me and tell me that each time I have a load to deliver, they will take it upon themselves and make sure that the driver must deliver the load. So they started, especially they discovered that I am on that stage. Because of the pregnancy I do too, until I'm always to be. So then I will just give myself maternity maybe once, 1-2 months to the delivery. If not at any stage, I will still be doing it. And God has been so faithful. So just like as I said, you won't get discouraged, because one thing I saw in it is that when I was a sales representative with one of the companies, I was selling for them, and what I was making for the company, at the end of every month, they are giving me the peanuts. And I discovered that this money they are spending it with their wives, they are foreigner. Their wife will be sitting inside the vehicle while I will stand inside the sun, and then we will be talking in the next 30 minutes. The AC of the vehicle will be on and they'll be enjoying. And I discovered this money is from my country. So I decided that after that was the last company, I was a sales rep to them, because I was a sales rep to about 3-4 companies. But after that last one, I told them I'm no longer going to be a sales rep to any company again. Then I started breaking with hands. We are employing boys from Jos, and they'll be doing it until when I got the crusher. So it's determination. When you determine to do it, God will surely bring your desire to pass. Thank you.
So basically that you took the hard road, took the drugs and the dancing with the crowd just like the men, and that you, even when you were pregnant, you ran through this. But the turning point for you was when you realized, I do the hard work, I do the heavy lifting, and yet the profits go to some other people. Why can't I work for myself and make it work for me? Thank you very much.
Well, the major challenge that I experienced was being a woman in the sector, was basically being a woman in the sector. I had somebody just say something like, if you're a woman, they expect you to show up there and not represent. I think that's why we are really here. Here, all of us sitting on the panel have, and most of us in the crowd have paid the price. At a point in time, I also had to be taking, when he's on vacation, he comes and joins me and stays, and taking it nuclear in his own, he's in Covenant University, doing it the way the young guys will be able to do, and he's studying biochemistry. So things I didn't see, he's beginning to see them now. So the major challenge that I experienced was actually having to deal with the community as a woman. Even when I fronted somebody, you understand, you now come yourself, and when you come yourself, they are looking at you first of all. I mean, she's a woman, I have her kind in the house. Well, I acknowledge that you have my kind in the house. I'm bringing a major investment to your community. But with time, the women in the community also now began to rally around me and be the ones to actually go tell their men folks they're actually gaining from these women, and they're learning some stuff from the women, from this stranger that is coming in, before I actually gained acceptance to be able to relax and actually do what I came to do in their community. So it was a cultural barrier that I had to climb. But in my company, just because I'm in this forum and I'm holding the microphone, in my company we recognize that this is what we have gone through. And so we put measures to ensure that the women that work for us get properly taken care of. I don't demand that I need to see your pretty face for 8 hours, but I do demand that you produce exactly what I need you to produce. I don't take for excuse that you're a woman so you can't go to the site and do your surveying. But if you are pregnant, you have a choice to take your leave before you deliver or after you deliver. You have a choice to work for 4 hours till you finish breastfeeding for about 3 months. And that 4 hours you can choose whether it's 8 to 12 or 12 to 4. But if you're there, I expect you to be 100% there and to produce. I think we should let the men worry about their paternity leave if need be, and ways that they are going to be more comfortable. We as women tend to get to be able to deliver what we need to deliver. Thank you. Thank you very much. Identify.
But then finally, we need to get back then. One last sentence. There are women in this room who are struggling with mining. There are women in this room who are wondering, should they even get in at all? Just one sentence from each panelist to them, to strengthen them.
Thank you. Well, I would say to get into mining, the better. Join the women in mining so that you have a support group. You have people who have done it. It's better to stand on the shoulders of giants than to reinvent the wheel. Don't go it alone, right? This type of forum, on my notes, I've been writing stuff down. Things I think we can do. I picked up things from our sister from Ghana. I picked up things from our sister from Cote d'Ivoire. These are the ways you can push yourself and leverage yourself. So you don't have to pay the price that some of us who have gone ahead have paid. Thank you.
Thank you. I will encourage the women, no matter what it will cost you, make sure you register your paper. There's a foundation for anything that you are doing. So if you don't have foundation for it, be focused and don't be quickly discouraged. It's not a business that can yield you the result immediately. So you know you not have it that no matter what, as long as I live, one day, God will give me eternal. Thank you.
I would encourage women that are in this room, for even being here today shows that you have a considerable amount of interest. Like the other panelists said, it's not a business that pays immediately. So, but it's a business that will pay you. They used for Alakija's name, they threw out her name here, they threw out other names that we even don't even know, people that are really making it. But it's really a profitable venture if you hang in there. Ask questions. Get involved in this network. Ask questions. There are women that are available to answer more questions. One, to the cadastral office. Make contacts. Ask questions, research, ask questions again before you commit your money. But you're welcome to the community.
So the general advice is start. Not yet, Mr. Ojeka. So the general advice is start. And I'll just take one thing from each of the women that I have learned here. First is if they know you are hardworking, people will help you. People do not help lazy people. As a woman, as a mother, as a wife, you are who you choose to be. Pave the way for other women to climb to the top. And then most importantly, from all three women, finally, they said, hang in there. This is for the long haul. Thank you for having us.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to just approach the panel again. You know, when they were giving their stories, a lot of us got to think a lot of the things that were behind the scenes. So when odious times. And when you talk about pregnancy, I think for me, that really hits it home. So well done, ladies. Now, we'll quickly go on to the next panel, and I'm going to beg the moderator to please try to keep it as short as possible, but we want to have the what do you call it in local parlance, the open, but please don't let it make it too extended. So I'll just call the participants, the panelists now, and we'll start from Mrs. Georgia. Honorable Engineer Adeyemi, Mr. Ojeka. We were supposed to have Haji Ashinkapi, but oh, okay. Honorable Commissioner, please select and we'd like to join them. That's the Honorable Commissioner from Adamawa State, Mr. Mineral Development. And the moderator for this session is Haja Asanashara. Would that do again? Let's give it a shot. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's the time I was this week. We've been told that one of women in mining are actually successful. And where some of them are not found in the ordinary supply chain. So we see now the challenges that make us to happen, and the challenges that is more trials. So, as the president of Women in Mining in Nigeria Association, can you please highlight for us the challenges in the mining sector? Thank you. I think the challenge, so I will
we find it easier because now we are educated, we have people in the industry, we can replicate ourselves, and we are happy today we have a female permanent secretary, which is an additional boost for women to see that, oh, a female permanent secretary can man that place. Then you look at cultural invitations, you look at finances, so we can go on and on because I think it's been discussed. I don't want to hold up people here because of time.
Thank you, ma'am. I will ask the commissioner from Adamawa State. So just give us a little bit of highlight. So many people don't know that a government can have a mining company in Nigeria. They just think it just has to be just individuals. So she can just give us a little bit of what the Adamawa State government is doing.
Thank you very much. If you have gone through the Mining Act, you will see that governments are excluded from mining in the Act. But the only way you can do it is to have an SPV so that you will be like any other person. So it is your SPV that will be doing the business of mining. In our own case, we register our company, which is Adamawa Mining Company, in 2003. And for all that period, it was like a comatose. Nothing was going on. And until when I came and, I just said, what is it? I tried to see how we can revive the thing.
And I started to even tell you all the documents were missing. I'll go there, I was looking here, everywhere. I had to do a CTC all over again in order to have the papers. And the directors, you know, when they were registering the company, they did it like a government thing. That is putting the names of the directors, people in government, and all other people had all retired. To get them to relinquish that position, to let us work, what they talk of work. Some of them were saying, they've not paid our entitlements, how can we do this? I had to bulldoze. That was where my law knowledge was very, very useful. You know, I had to like show them the lawyer way of doing that. And even that, I didn't go scot-free. They wrote petitions and everything. But because I knew exactly what I was doing, I told my principal, I said, if we don't do it this way, we will not move forward. And you see, I want to move this thing forward. And he agreed with me. So that thing was led to rest, and this was how we continued. Now we have only 3 directors, and we wanted a board, and they asked me, I said, no, we don't need a board now, because we are still at the rudimentary stage. If we have a board, it means we'll be running to them, asking for permission to do this and do that. But right now, let's just work the way we are. So we are just working the way we are now. We can always come together and, you know, agree on certain things. So in order for government to do mining business, this is the only way they can do business, and no any other way. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. My next question is to the director, Artisanal Small-Scale Mining Department. Sir, the president of grain mining in Nigeria highlighted some challenges. I know you still know that there are some other challenges as a director who has been handling that sector for a while. I want you to just tell us from the part of the government, what the government is doing to remove or help women to succeed in mining in Nigeria, and at the same time have more women participation in the ASF sector.
Thank you, moderator. Speaking from the perspective of the government, yes, the role of government generally is to provide the enabling environment for all entrants into the mining subsector of the economy. And government has gone further to look critically into the roles of women. But of course, like some persons will say, education is key. And that is why the government is adopting the platform of sensitization and awareness and holding forums to make sure that information that people do not have are imparted. I will tell you that our educational system in Nigeria too has not helped the situation much, because the female children in schools up to date, when they come to sciences, they dash up. And then when you say mining, they look at it as a dirty work that is meant for men because of the tediousness there. All of those perceptions, gradually, they are waning off. For those of us present in this hall here, luckily you are missed. You have a female mining engineer that is engaged by the government. Back here, where are you? That is our Margaret Thatcher. And she is flying the flag, you can sit down, high there, without looking back. When you look at the cultural upbringing in Nigeria, or cultural orientation, an African man, naturally, maybe from following the teachings of God creation, does not enjoy to see a woman working strenuously, passing through the hardship that they do. Because even if a woman goes to the site and work as hard as a man, she still has the responsibility of going to keep the home. You cannot in any situation abandon that. For all of us here, the candid advice is, yes, you are encouraged to invest in the sector. If we had time, I would have given you the story of Mama We Are There, how the Chibi granite is where it is today. That is another icon in the sector. Who single-handedly drove the husband to the hills for that industry to be where it is today. You are all encouraged to enter into this sector. Don't discourage your children, especially female children who want to study mining engineering any day, anywhere. Or they want to study geology. They too go on here. And by the time you are done with that, the platforms are provided for you. Those of you listening to the panelists and thinking, let's say investment in mining is capital intensive. Yes, we agree. But you can start by forming into cooperative. Learn to be a team players. The moment you are able to overcome that difficulty of team player, you will be up there. So I'm only just re-echoing what I had said at the last forum I organized for women in mining. My job and my responsibility is to mainstream you into the main mining pathway. It is that industry is not left for men alone. It will be difficult, but with determination, you will overcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thinking on the issue of funding of most of the women activities, some of them are so poor that they cannot even afford the headband, shovels. I don't know if government has any incentives in place for this kind of categories of women, or is that especially the ones that come cooperative, maybe can give us a bit enlightenment how they can access the funding through the government department.
Thank you. That is a very technical question. But I want to let everybody know, funding has been the challenge of the mining sector, not only in Nigeria, globally. There is nowhere in the world that the commercial banks that operate on Chiluwere to give you loan for a long gestation period of 10 years. It's quite difficult, but you start little by little. The man who is running a supermarket today, if you check his history, he just kept one table and was selling tobacco, and he grew from there. Government, looking at the difficulty and the challenges in the sector, have created platforms to encourage investments in the mining industry. And one of the simplest ways is through the formalization process. Once you are either you are formalized, if you are into artisanal operation, or you are already recognized, coordinated with establishing a small-scale mining operation, then there are opportunities that government is creating. In the recent past, at the last World Bank loan that was managed by the ministry, there was a grant program. In the execution of that grant program, grant is money given to you, not cash, but through equipment purchase to grow the group. That was a deliberate program. And in the execution of that, women group were formed. But unfortunately, because there was nobody there shouting at them, they scattered. So in a nutshell, yes, if I mention the money deposited with the BOI, yes, the cry is that the conditionalities are too critical. Government is looking into that to see how they will leverage it. Their interest rate is too high. I will not encourage you to toe that line. But I have the determination to drive to see how you will be able to overcome them. Formalization for now is key for the people involved in artisanal mining. And artisanal mining is into all categories of mining. So, right now, government is not doling out cash to anybody, but for the women group specifically, it is quite interesting and it's a welcoming idea that you are now forming a formidable group, and from this position, you will be able to access more opportunities from government. Thank you.
I only want to add to what Mr. Ojeka, Director, has said from government perspective. But government, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, isn't it? And when synergy, just like the Director said, people with like minds doing the same thing, especially in the same state, can form, you understand, cooperatives. Make sure your cooperative, some of you came with your documents today, and I was whispering to our Director, bring your cooperative document. She said we should submit to the desk officer on gender. Pay your money to TSA, it will be processed. You understand? You need to do inspection, do whatever. So by the time it's formalized, it starts even from kids. I knew Alaji and Yunusa was desperate sometimes, so he would give us some of the kids. You understand? So, so those are things we can benefit from government immediately. The entire overall and cap and everything you saw me wearing, I didn't use a penny of mine to buy it. It was something that was given to me from government, and all of us can have that. It's a question of we putting ourselves, putting our house together. And that was why I said a single broom can sweep clean, but a bunch, we do it.
Thank you. Let's just have a little bit comment from the Commission.
Writing on what most panelists have said, it is not all bad news about mining. It is not all about the huge capital that you see. There are other investors outside that are also willing to do what we are looking for. First, if you formalize yourselves, like they said, like if all of us now in this room form ourselves into cooperatives, I know, because we in my state have access a foreign investment like that. It will not be fair for me if I don't tell you this. In fact, that is why I beg to come here. So that you will be encouraged, so that you will know that it is not all bad news in mining. We are going to do a cement factory in my state, and for 3 years now I've been going up and down and looking for an investor who will be ready to invest with us, because the government has told me clearly that it cannot afford to do that. And I got this investor who in turn looked for his own funders. And so they had to refer back to us to confirm and do all those things. And when I confirmed, so I asked them, why are you giving them funds and you are not giving us? Is it because we are Nigerians? They said, no, well, it's open to anybody. Anybody can apply and get the funding. I said, really? They said, yes. They said, write a letter. So I wrote a letter and attached all the pricing, the cost, and everything. And we had this conference call later, after the letter. And I had them laughing at the background. So I was like, okay, maybe the money is too much for them and all that. So when they came up, they said, you mean this is all you can ask for? I said, what do you mean? Well, we are giving you a blank check and you are coming up with peanuts. Ask me how much is that peanuts? It's $1.7 billion US. And so they gave me that grant to the state. And now I know it is a blank check. I know the way and I can do it. And if the women will put themselves together, like I told you, sky is the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You can now see that it is not that difficult. Mrs. Banks from Ghana, being the president of Women in Mining in Ghana, and then having listened to all our challenges from the Nigerian perspective, please just give us advice, because I know that Ghana has gone ahead of Nigeria in mining operations. Give us advice from the Ghana perspective.
One thing that I would like to say is that talking about in Ghana, I know that there is a lot of investment that comes out of the country. It's international investment money that comes in. But one of the key problems that we have realized is perception, because there tends to be a lot of stories about mining, bad stories generally, about small-scale mining. And so it's one thing that I'd like to caution you to try and put out a lot of positive stories, because sometimes people go on the net and then they see these stories. And as a young enterprise in Nigeria, you need to put out good stories. Investors are interested in environmental green projects, sustainable projects. So whatever you're doing, you need to remember safety, the environment, pollution, so that's another aspect that we always have to add to the projects that we're doing, and to project that part. That is what people want to put their money in now.
Thank you. Our time is fast spent. I'll just make a little comment. That for the discussants, we all know that mining is not that bad, and it's not as difficult as we make it look if we put our mind to it. And on the aspect of the advice she gave us, I know Nigerians are very good at writing negative things about our country on social network. You can see what she said. People read all these things and they believe them. So let's sell ourselves. Let's sell ourselves big time, and let's sell ourselves on this note. I say thank you very much, and thank you to the discussion.
Are you ready for us? Madam, you want to tell us the procedure for
registered miners? All of us, most of us have the law. I want to know, what does it take to become a registered miner? Go into the problems and the challenges we have. You can just tell us what is, yes, there is one that what they do. So actually,
good afternoon. I am Elizabeth Osipo from Women in Mining Kogi State Chapter. Yes, our Madam City is our motto. So she taught us, if you want to be a miner, is of varies. There's what we call artisanal miner, there is a small scale miner, SSM, and there is quarry lease, and there is I forgot the fourth one. So what we did is we go into the community, go to the federal mines office in any of the states where it's located. Like me, I'm a Benin woman, but I located and reside at Abuja, Kogi State. So fortunately for me, I have 2 mining leases, SSM, on a different community. So when we got inside limestone and tantalite, I think they had our club. So she go to the community and they gave us a consent letter, which I have here. They gave us a consent letter to the national office. License. So, and we brought the consent letter to our madam, which she took to Abuja. This is a consent letter from the community and the para community. So we filed in applications, and here we started. Then at the time, they require your CAC registration, which is this one. They require tax clearance, which is this one. Then they require a geology certificate. We approached one geology man and he gave us a certificate and a reference letter from your bank and bank statements. And
What are the challenges you face when you are processing your license?
we started with illegal manner, that's what they call, but now it's artisanal manner, no more illegal manner. The community Royal Majesty, Eto of Boloko, when he heard that we are tapping mineral in his place, we just went for test running. That's what we call test running. We wanted to see if the mineral that we want to file in application or acquire license, we want to see if it's okay. But immediately we started that, Eto of Boloko brought soldier, 21 soldiers to the bush, with mobile, civil defense, anti-bomb. They picked me, they locked me, I was in cell for 6 days. So before we replied to Madam, and Madam said, if you want to be a miner, if you don't want to be embarrassed, it's better you go for. At first, when we filed the application, it failed. So we had when our Madam was saying that there was a time she went to Cadastre's office that she was weeping. It was our license, our application that failed. That we were not pressurizing her. That she said no. Even the association said maybe she has eaten the money. Then she now cried to Cadastre's office before they now called us and said it is because the money in our account at that particular that statement of account. Once you find an application for up to 2 million in your account, or
No, it's one money.
money. So they said because their money in our account when that statement of account was taken was not enough. But you know, being ignorant of it, we never knew. We don't say, Madam has taken our money, she will provide you. But at the end of the day, she came and said we should try and get more money in our account, which we do by the special day of the license.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, who can tell us the challenges you faced during the legislation? That's what we wanted to consider. What are the reasons? Why? Why did you say this? When applying for your license, challenges. Yes.
Priority list.
Yes.
Challenge. Because most times, when you're talking about the concept, on research, the concept has to have a coordinate point. I have a sample of it. It has to have a coordinate point. That coordinate point shows that they are giving you go ahead, might so So I might have the same coordinate units, maybe 4 of us, and we are putting our application. I don't know you anyway. We don't know you. Or both of us have the same coordinate unit to apply. Then I applied, you applied, and applied. So at the long run, Cadastre has to dish out the person on the priority.
As manager, as one of I'm the only director among them. So I try to
Education, low enrollment
you know, if, for example, you have two boys, 2 girls, and they are talking, maybe they have 8 years, maybe 8 to 12 years. The daughter, I want to be a doctor, I want to be, the friend will say, no, this is for women. So it starts.
First, we started from yeah, I said that, and she went in to study chemistry. She's not somebody for closer, you may apply science, but it comes further. Lecturer advice.
Maybe it's one thing,
Yeah, the support, they don't have any support.
and you went there, you said, okay, this country,
to encourage them in terms of how they participate in the science. Guidance council. Guidance but when you go into the practice, that's my own life. The one advisor, they are not supporting you for you to know that every this child maybe I don't know in your side how many universities or as a geology as a course, for instance. How many of them as a availability course across space? And look at the oil and I noticed that this priority place on engineering, so in terms of geology and all that,
just going to emphasizing their awareness. Sorry everyone, excuse me, one meeting. It's important the awareness that we know what is going to find out. All as a problem. I will not reach the right without our big chance. Just have it.
I thought we were discussing. I thought we're going to discuss it.
Yes, we'll discuss that. Hopefully to understand what's going on.
What are the
We'll do that.
what is causing all these problems? Women are never at the table. I wanted to accuse you, but I didn't want to take you on jam because even in your presentation, you yourself are gender biased. If you look at your presentation, the recommendations are gender biased, unconsciously. You are in a meeting, women in mining, and then you even in your recommendation, you do not even refer. You understand? You are celebrating other organizations. The women in mining, and now small women in mining, won't even be swallowed up. You even have registration fee for that conference. That conference is to register as a member, the cost of 50,000 to be in miners. How many women here can do that? So even in the only look at the provincial and the high time men and I stood my ground that this organization is suffering. Amanda will tell you some of the stories. Projects, my own individual company, I have to lock it up rather, to be able to confront it. And maybe that's why I'm still in politics because of all these things, so that they know that you can't be locked. And the high time I didn't. No, she has said that we want to run an association for years. These things you are doing, who takes it now? Who brings out the communication?
And this is not are they not in the Miners Association? Is it exclusive for men?
This is exclusive.
No, the Miners Association.
The Miners Association is not exclusive, but how many women I want to buy it, sell it before I go into my how do I go about it? If I want to start buying and sell, what are the conditions? Why is the market where I can go? How do I identify the quality of product that I'm buying? 1, 2, 3, 4. So your challenges now are I want to start. I want to know how to start. What are the conditions? Yes, thank you. Name saying.
Like they all said,
It's new.
Because there was somebody who was doing she will come on she will.
No, but there's a way I want to do mine. Rather than her, because she is it's like giving a lecture. So let's make it more interactive. People tell me exactly. No, it's a question. That's why I'm writing down all your challenges. How do I avoid being duped? No, I am. But the thing is, see, like
like, let's hear they will now gradually start unpacking it. That's what I said, have patience. So that way it's not like someone is giving a lecture. It's more like someone is solving your problem.
Okay, I've seen somebody else.
Okay, so your child, no, I didn't get it very well. So how to get
Buying and selling. I'm not talking of getting license or whatever. Buying and selling.
Identify the location for the stores, identify the market for the stores, and then quality.
But source of quality, MKT.
source of the material? Okay, stores. Of the stores.
Find the buyers.
That's
This is what I started marketing. That's what you want to source your buyer.
So we have quality.
The quality is there.
So you want to like your quality assurance. So the things that we're coming up. So these are the things we're going to be discussing about.
And what are the jails? How much do you sell them?
Private.
You need to know who
Funding. Any funding.
All the decisions, all the discussions when we're passing the development, women are out, that's another video. Women are not on the negotiating table because the first bitumen summit we had is before we pass somebody, women are not involved. The traditional rulers are everything, women are not part of the stakes of the Of course. So when we talk about the bitumen development, we have to go to the we have what we call the first or business summit. And then on those states now have a major plus.
Who has the legislative right over minor? Yes, you are supposed to say so. Thank you. Any other? And then we leave them.
So that's there.
We'll be cutting portion from there and back of the students to work. So the legal minors, the challenge is that the legal minors are working on our own academic any other challenge in the legislation. But to experience, in our local government, the letter local government gave us here, permit to work. After being right to mines, we pay levy to association, we pay tax, then we pay tax to state government, then local government, not someone else to the secretariat, is what they call permit to work. That if we don't come to the secretariat to take that permit to work, that they will not work. We have to go there. I took my own 300,000. After taking the letter from after the consent letter, the local government still gave me another paper. Permit to work. I used 300,000 to take that paper. So what we are handling is where money they are saying is 50,000. The local government after that level. Thank you.
You want to go to because we want to talk about yes, first, we are talking on legislation. The next thing is, because of that, I will still go back. Yes.
On reaching the site,
Is there any challenge?
Thank you.
Are they fighting against us because we are women? What are the challenges you are facing? Because you are a woman and you want that to remind yourself. What are the challenges that you are facing?
Because I have community of women that I work with. Those are some of the things women in different groups were setting up, the younger generation. So join women in mining, just go to the platform. Women, so that you go in there, and then when we identify key stakeholders who are interested, come to your community, preach the meaning. Look at the map of Nigeria. There's no community that doesn't have a mining, that doesn't have mining and minerals. So you just take charge and you don't allow people, you understand, to abuse your people. I was watching something on this television, on this system yesterday. I was writing World Bank, this who was the one who shared it. Even myself, I shared it. Now, have to work and there are some most community women they know these things and they are willing, but they don't know how to go about it because they need a background. And if the policy and the regulators are able to speak up at that time so that they may be able to take their money for the they are willing, they are begging to shout, but when they get back, they will be scolded. So
So they need to let the community and policy makers create that awareness that the women need to be heard, and that federal government has actually taken this social protection and gender policy seriously.